one. Okay, we're live now. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome everyone to today's guest speaker meeting. I'm pleased to have Brad Brockbank here. He's an amazing man. If you guys haven't heard him before, prepare to be inspired. Brad is a life coach, runs his own organization called the University of You, where he mentors and gives life coaching to those who need it. So Brad and I have known each other for about a year now, or has it almost been 2 years? I don't know. It's been a while. But
2 years.
yeah, time flies. But yeah, so Brad has been a great mentor to me. I initially just approached him just wanting to see how I can honestly build what is Fire Will right now, just to help people from the ground up. So Brad has been a great mentor there, and he's been so gracious with his time and his resources. So I'm really excited to have Brad speak with you guys today. So I just learned a few interesting facts about Brad right before we were just talking. So Brad grew up in a funeral home. He almost, what did you say for he almost became like a professional rollerblader for Kryptonics.
I was semi-pro rollerblader and snowboarder.
Yeah.
Growing up.
And then you decided to become a life coach. So how did that happen, if you don't mind me asking?
Becoming a life coach, it really it picked me. Growing up, people constantly came to me with their problems and issues, and were always like, man, you have the best advice and you're so easy to talk to, and I just love what you do. And I found a lot of fulfillment in it as well. But everybody told me, go to school, get a job, pick a company, stick with it. And that was kind of like the what everybody had been taught. And every time I tried, I ended up in a rough situation that I didn't enjoy. And I didn't feel like I was fulfilling my life's purpose. And eventually I decided, you know what? I'm tired of making other people millions of dollars. I'm going to go out and start my own company. And that's what I've done. And we're not making millions, but I am changing millions of lives. And that's what I love. I'm touching a lot of people. So
that's awesome. That's what's most important, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Well, another thing that you just really touched about when we were talking, Brad, is that you've started up to 15 or so companies. So with that, I'd love to just turn the time over to you. If you wouldn't mind just giving us an introduction about, how some of your entrepreneurial, I was going to say failures, but maybe lessons is a better way to put it. Just things you've learned and how you finally came to the University of You and how that's been successful.
So, first off, I just want to tell you guys, I'm really excited to be here, able to talk to you, to teach, and to share some of this with you. I had the entrepreneurial bug from the time I was very young, and I knew I wanted to be successful. And in talking with well-meaning people, they would say, go out, go to school. And I never really was a really strong learner at school. In fact, I'll get a little vulnerable with you guys. My graduating GPA, and in the United States, the way that they do grades is basically they have an A, B, C, D, or F. There's no E, just A, B, C, or D grades are usually passing, but C's and D's they're very frowned upon. And then you have F, which is fail. And by the time I graduated high school, because I struggled so much with schooling, I graduated with a 1.98. And if you know what that means I was like a D plus. So it was very, very low marks in school, but it didn't reflect who I was. I've always been very smart, very intelligent. You put me in the middle of a bullpen with a bunch of smart people with numbers, or a bunch of smart people with trying to figure out how to actually get something done. I've always shined at that, but sitting down, taking tests, studying books, that wasn't really my thing. And so people hear that and they're like, what? A 1.98 cumulative? What? How did you get into college and all that? Well, I used my other skills, my other tactics, which was knowing and understanding how to deal with humans. And I've always been they have what's called IQ. You probably all have heard of IQ. It's the intelligence quotient and how highly intelligent somebody might be. But there's another type of quotient called the emotional EQ, emotional quotient. And emotionally intelligent people know and understand when they say something to somebody, they understand what it's going to do to them, the other person, how that other person will receive those words, what it will make them feel like, if it will inspire, if it will like take away from them or whatever it is. And so I have always had a really high EQ, and using that EQ helped me be able to get into doors and open up opportunities and eventually start my own company. And so I've been really grateful for that. And that's as I worked with people and having that high EQ and knowing how they were feeling, being a little bit on the higher empathetic side, meaning I knew how they felt, not just from words, but I could read body language, I could read their facial expressions, and I could get a pretty good, solid grasp on what was going on with that person. And I knew what to say to help them. That led me into coaching. I did it for free for a long time. And then I realized one day the free people are not taking advantage. They're not doing the things I'm suggesting. And I start asking people to pay me. And the people that paid actually did like what I told them to do. And so that was an early lesson that really helped me realize, while I wanted to save the world and give my things away for free, I was actually doing them a disservice because they weren't invested. They weren't sticking to it and doing their part to find the success. And now that I have clients who pay me a lot of money to do what I do, I've got one client, he runs a $10 million annual sales company, and he's bringing me people left and right. He's like, "You're the best coach I've ever met. You just get it. Guys, I'm not super smart. I just know how to ask questions that make people think bigger, broader, and get to where they're trying to get to. They're the smart ones." All right. So, but let me share just a little bit about so the very first company I tried to launch, it was a company called Shapely Innovations, and we launched it was a supplement, like a nutritional supplement company. I had a very good connection to a guy that owned a very, very successful company. And occasionally when they would run a line of vitamins or supplements, it would come off the printer and something would hit it while it was still hot and it would smudge the label. Well, they couldn't sell that through the normal channels. They couldn't send it to the big box stores because it was smudged. So they had a place that they would move it, and they called it the cage. And he had this whole area of the warehouse full of these smudged products. And I came up with an idea and said, "Hey, what if I set up a website and sold these products myself, and then I'd split the profit with you?" And it was like, "Yeah, that would be great." So I talked to a friend of mine who was a great web developer. I talked to my brother-in-law, who was an amazing brand developer, and I just put everything together. Mike, are you still alive with us there, buddy? You're good. So we put everything together and got that worked out, and I went to work on it. Well, after a little while, the company ended up having some issues that ended up closing that down. But I had some good success with it, and I think it really gave me the entrepreneurial bug to start going to work and start creating new companies. And I tried the biggest problem, and this is something that each of you are going to face as you're launching your own companies. It's marketing. I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to share and get the word out of what I was doing, because we had great products. My prices were absolutely lower than everybody else. But I wasn't getting the word out like I needed to. And it took me launching 15 companies. My last few have had mild success, had some good things getting together. The University of U has had a lot of success because I finally figured out how to market and share what it is that I do. And so that has been a game changer for me. And each of you, no matter how great your product is, it's not going to sell itself. You've got to figure out a selling system and a way to get it marketed out to the people. Now, what I do want to share with you is in all of this, I've had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of reasons to quit. But when it gets difficult, if you truly believe in your product, if you truly believe in yourself, you guys are taking the time, you're coming, you're working with Micah, you're learning from great people. Like, you have so many tools, so much opportunity to be able to start really pushing through. But that word, pushing through, is very, very important. Because there will be times where it just feels like I need to give up. I need to quit. Why am I doing this? Why am I trying so hard and I'm not having success yet? The power of the word yet is so awesome. If you guys can put yet when you start thinking negatively, when you start having a struggle, when you're like, I'm not good enough yet, that means I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep working. I'm not giving up yet, ever. I will not give up because I'm just not there yet. But you will be there. If you stay consistent at something, you will arrive. The guy that invented the light bulb, Thomas Edison, he worked at the light bulb, and the story is told that he did 1,000 attempts to make the light bulb. On the 1,000th try, he actually succeeded, and the light bulb was successful, and he invented it. But let's step back for just a minute. He did 999 failures. So if we're weighing out success versus failure, wouldn't we say he was more of a failure? But nobody thinks of him as a failure. And he wasn't a failure. Why? Because those were just the foundational learning points for the creation of the light bulb that changed the entire world. He didn't give up. He said, I haven't invented the light bulb yet. And he kept going. Whatever it is you're working on as well, you're in that same boat. You just haven't hit the big success yet, but it's coming. You just have to you can't let your mindset turn yourself convinced that it's going to fail otherwise.
And Brad, do you mind if I jump in there for a sec?
Please.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, please send them in. I know Brad would love to answer them for you. So just want to put that in there. But Brad, my question is about what you just shared, because that's really powerful, like just holding on to yet. But what advice would you offer to people who are having a really hard time staying motivated with just acting? And because I've definitely been there at that point where, actually, I honestly feel like I'm at that point right now where it's just like, just waiting for the yet to happen. Feeling like you're putting in a lot of effort. So how would you encourage people to stay motivated?
Very, very most important thing is you have to have a why. You have to have something bigger than what you have right now of why you're doing what you're doing. And if money's the answer, that's not a good enough why. Because I want to be rich. It's not going to do it. Are you setting out to change lives? And what do those lives look like right now? And what are they going to look like when you're done? That's the driver. That's what comes back in my heart. When I see where the University of U is growing to, You guys, I don't look at it and say, oh, I'm going to be so rich. It's going to be amazing. I just want to be a millionaire. That doesn't drive me. That doesn't give me what I need. What does give me what I need is seeing myself in front of a stage, on a stage in front of a crowd of people, and afterwards having people coming up, shaking my hand and saying, Brad, what you shared today changed my life. Thank you so much. Here's what I'm going to do. And then I see myself getting letters in the mail from all over the world from people saying, you taught me this. I saw you talk about these things. I applied it. And now look what I've built. Look what I've done with my life. I've changed the way I think, and I changed my results. That's how you stay motivated. And you guys, let me teach you something really, really important. And this is one of the things I teach inside of my very, very expensive like one-on-one coaching. It's the equation of life. And this is really important. I'm a very big proponent about the words and the energy of words and what you allow into your life. And this equation, it starts up here at the top, and it begins with words. What words are you allowing into your life? Are they positive words? Are they negative words? Are you watching movies that are uplifting and building your life, or things that are negative? And like, what kind of music do you listen to? What kind of people do you hang around? Are they positive and uplifting, or are they sad and not motivated and not doing things with their lives? You need to really look at your circle of people, because they're feeding words. And that's where we start with this equation. Is we've got words that lead to thoughts. So our thoughts are formulated by the words that we allow into our life. So the words formulate thoughts, which formulate our actions, which formulate our outcomes, which formulate the way we feel about life. So if you're having a hard time with the way you feel life is going right now, try to put in some higher quality words, because if we start with higher quality words, then we end up with higher quality thoughts. And higher quality thoughts are going to lead to higher quality actions that we take. And those higher quality actions are going to lead us to higher quality outcomes, which leads us to feeling higher quality in life. This equation works every time. There is no situation that I've encountered yet that it did not apply. When people start upgrading their words and the people they hang around and the things that they're allowing to influence the way that they think, everything else flows from there. So if you came and hung out with me and Micah for a whole week, and we're talking business, you know we're going to be talking about success in business, not failure in business. We're talking about success and the things that we do, the morning routine and getting up and going through so the morning routine that I use is from a guy, he wrote the book Miracle Equation. His name is Hal Elrod, and he teaches SAVERS. And SAVERS is an acronym that stands for silence, affirmations, vision board, exercise, reading, and I can't remember if he uses scripting or scribing, but it's writing, it's journaling. So the silence is meditation and prayer. Affirmations, going through, reminding yourself who you really are. Vision boards, like seeing inside your mind's eye the things that you want. When I told you guys just a minute ago about seeing myself on the stage and receiving those letters, that's my visioning experience with my vision board. That's the outcome that I want. So I create it, I see it, I have it on my wall, and I spend time feeling the emotions of what it's going to be like when it happens. Then I exercise. I go to the gym every day. Maybe you don't have a gym nearby. Maybe you just need to go running or whatever it is. Get your body moving, because when your body feels good, your mind feels good. And then read a success book. I read every single day. I try to get at least 10 minutes, if not 15 to 20 in. And then I write, I journal, I express my feelings through my notebooks that I have and thoughts that I have. I expand on them. I write all day long because I love journaling. So that's the morning routine that I start my day off with at 4:45 in the morning. I go to bed at 10:30 and I'm up at 4:45 every morning, and I do my prayers, I do my affirmations, I do my vision board, and then I get ready and I go to the gym and I exercise. And then while I drive to and from the gym, I have in my car, I just have, I flip my phone on and I listen to audiobooks. So I don't read actual physical books. I listen to the books. And then when I get inspiration, I get out my journal and I write it down. I've got my book with me all the time. I carry a pen in my pant pocket, and I keep my journal with me everywhere I go, and that's where I write my thoughts. So this equation of life that I'm telling you guys is a real equation. If you can put higher quality words into routine, it will change your life. My program that I teach is called the Mindset Miracle. It's a year-long class. And my whole goal, if I'm to boil it down into like, what is it really that I'm trying to get these guys to do? It's exactly what I just taught you. So if you can walk away from today's class and and get what I just said about going through the understanding that equation, higher quality words, get rid of all the low quality, I can't, I'm a failure, it's not going to work, or negative people that say, hey, just stay safe, don't try to launch something. Get rid of those things. That's not going to take you to the next level. But man, imagine hanging with Micah and I, and you're like, here's what I want to do. And we're like, you can do it, man. You're going to do it. Keep at it. Don't give up. Keep trying. You just haven't gotten there yet. Man, if we were there every day doing that over and over, are you going to succeed or are you going to fail? You're going to succeed. And that's one of the other things that I teach in this class, in my course, is a word we created. The word is SAFE. And it's actually an acronym, CFE. I want you to write that down, CFE, and then write down underneath it in print or quotations, SAFE. Learn that word, and I'll tell you why. CFE, or SAFE as we call it, stands for consistent, focused effort. If you were to consistently focus on something every single day of your life, do you think you'd succeed at mastering it?
I think it'd be impossible kind of not to, honestly.
Let's say that one more time.
I said I honestly think it'd be almost impossible not to succeed if you're doing that every single day.
Every day you're trying something, you're doing it over and over. So when my daughter was young, she wanted to learn how to jump rope because her mom was in a jump rope competition, or not competition, a jump rope team. Like they went and competed professionally doing all these crazy jump rope things. And so my daughter was like, it's in my blood, I want to do it. And we went out and we bought her a professional jump rope. And I remember she took the jump rope, she got it ready, and she flipped it over and tried to jump it, and she couldn't. I said, it's okay, it's no big deal, try it again. She flipped it back, and she tried again, and didn't do it. And she was a little frustrated. Flipped it back, did it again. This time she jumped it, and then brought it back around and didn't. And she kept trying over and over, and she just could not get the rhythm. Now, this was only in a couple minute span, so it wasn't like she had been working at it. And she got really frustrated, and she threw the jump rope down and said, I can't do this. Well, right about that same time, I had heard a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, that which we persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our ability to do the thing has increased. Now, I'm going to repeat that a little bit faster so you can think about the flow of those words. That which we persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but that our ability to do the thing has increased. As you apply SAFE, consistent, focused effort, there's no way, just like Micah just said, for you not to succeed. Because if you stick to it, if you show up every day, if you have a why, a reason that drives you so that when it's hard, you keep going because you believe in yourself, you will succeed. You will. Not only will you succeed to the degree that you think you will far exceed it, my friends. You will be able to explode and change lives, and new opportunities will show up at your door, and people will come out of the woodworks and be like, you know, I was thinking about what you were doing and it really works well with what I'm doing, and I thought maybe we could do a business on it together, and next thing you know, big success coming. So my message to you today is this: stick to it. You might not be there yet, but if you start a race and you never stop walking or crawling or moving forward toward that finish line, how can you not get there? You might not win the gold and be the fastest and the best to it, but as long as you don't stop, you will get there. There's no other outcome that can happen. So keep going, my friends. Stick to it. If you're feeling discouraged, find higher quality words. Find higher quality people to be around. Find things to change what's going in here with our words. Guys, go out and find 10 really positive, inspiring, uplifting songs. I'll give you a couple. There's one called The Power of Yet. If you look on YouTube, you can find it.
This is an actual song?
It's an actual song, The Power of Yet. It's a good little song. High Hopes by Panic at the Disco.
Love that
It's
song.
another really good one. What are some other good ones you have, Micah? You got any faves on your list?
A Million Dreams.
Oh, yeah. Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
A Million Dreams. I'll just show you I'll pull my playlist right here. I'm really big about music. Don't listen to music with curse words. Even if you're like, oh, it's not a big deal, people curse all the time. The curse word itself has negative connotation, which means it has negative energy to it. And the energy that you bring into your life, it has an effect, you guys. Really pay attention. If you've got people that are just always negative or always talking about beating people up or things that just are uncomfortable, you probably shouldn't be hanging out with them. They're not in league for your success. All right, let me read these songs off here off my playlist. Where'd it go? Brad's Super Songs right here. All right.
That sounds legit.
I've got High Hopes. I've got Hall of Fame, which is written by a group called The Script.
Love that song.
That's a good one. I've got another one. There's a guy, his group is called Pink Zebra. I don't know if you can find him or not. A lot of his stuff is just super positive. He's like a motivational singer. And he has one called It's Good to Be Alive that I love. He has another one called Larger Than Life that I really like. Another song is called Superheroes. That's also by The Script. The Champion by Carrie Underwood. Unstoppable by a group called The Score. And The Power of Yet, and the guy that wrote that is called C.J. Luckey, and it's Luckey. And then I've got Usher and a song called More that I really like.
Nice.
Dating myself there a little bit.
Yeah, who is Usher? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Usher.
No, I see. Yeah, I still know who he is.
So, if you guys can really look at the energy of the things that are affecting your life right now, you guys enjoy coming to these classes. Why? Because there's good, positive energy coming out of them, isn't there? Like, it's awesome to be able to listen to successful people, to see what they're doing. How do they get there? You guys, I grew up in a funeral home. My dad, we weren't super, super poor, but we weren't very wealthy. I actually was teased in elementary school. They called me the cutoff king because my mom couldn't afford to buy us shorts in the summer. So because we were growing so fast, she would take our pants and cut them off. And then she didn't have a sewing machine to create the nice hem around them. So she just would cut them off, and that's how we wore them. We just snip and wear. And kids would tease me, called me the cutoff king because of it. I didn't come from money or opportunity, but Sophie has been my greatest ally, meaning I've applied consistent, focused effort, believing in my dreams, surrounding myself with positive words, and finding incredible people like Micah to be my friends. That has made all the difference in my life. So that's my challenge to each of you. Evaluate what you're surrounding yourselves with. If you get demotivated, go back to the why. Find your reason that you started this in the first place. And what does it look like? What does it feel like inside your soul when it all works out? Go there. Know it so well that if I asked you right now, what does it feel like when you finally reach success? You can say, oh, Brad, let me tell you. I see myself in front of a stage of thousands of people, and they cannot wait to come up and individually thank me for the words that I shared and how deeply I changed their lives. Now that's my story, but I hope that you have something similar that you can go to, because it will drive you through those hard days and the down times. And then go to your music and your song list, listen to it, feel it, be uplifted, and stay positive. Spread your sunshine. You guys, there's no other outcome that can happen. It leads to success.
I love that. I love that. And Brad, I'm so happy to be your friend too. Like, you're such an inspirational person. So just an aside.
Well, thank you.
So thank you for sharing.
I feel the same way. You guys, Micah called me out of the blue. He found my website and was like, I don't know, I just want to meet with you and ask some questions. And I was like, oh, yeah, heck yeah. I feel all important and cool. So we met down at the college and had a really cool experience and sparked off an amazing friendship from there. Yeah. Find people like Micah, because they're out there. There are good people out there.
Well, find people like Brad too, who just are so willing to, help other people. Like, I really appreciate that, taking the time to do all this. So yeah, we just had a really good comment that came in from Thomas, and this goes along with, I believe, what you just barely shared. And he said he'd like to know, is there any limit in trying to achieve your goal? Is there?
There is no limit. The only limits that you have, Thomas, are the ones you place on yourself. Really evaluate what I just said. The only limits you have are the ones you place on yourself. The reason I say that, wouldn't it be better to, I want to share a quote that I love. I heard this when I was younger. I think I might have shared it the last time I was on here, but it says, I would rather aim for the moon and land on the roof than aim for the roof and land in the garbage can.
I love that.
Aim high, because when you aim high and you believe there are no limits, what's stopping you? Why not aim limitless? Believe that you can change the world. Steve Jobs, who is the inventor of Apple, he's the founder of Apple, all the Apple products that we all know out there. He said that people who set out to change the world usually do. My goal is to change the world. I want to leave a mark and a legacy before I leave this earth that everybody knows the name Brad Brockbank. Now, not because I want to be famous and big, but because I believe so deeply in the things that I teach that if I can touch the lives of everyone in this world with them, then I will have achieved my goals and my dreams. That's what I want. Hopefully your vision and dreams and goals are that big too, Thomas, because you deserve them. And there's no reason that you can't do it yourself. Guys, I didn't have all the opportunities in the world. I know I was born in America and I'm fortunate, and that is a blessing. There are opportunities, but I came from a funeral home. I was teased. I was never cool. I was never popular. But now, when I go back to my groups of friends from school and things like that, they're all like, oh man, Brad, how are you doing all the things you're doing? Sophie, consistent, focused effort.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Brad. I think it's amazing just to see people like you who, didn't grow up with a lot to, just become super successful. And I find that those are the coolest stories to hear. Just people who came from nothing but like just transform their lives. And so I just say, like, everyone that's like watching, like, I hope to be able to hear your guys' stories, like when you're motivational speakers and everything. Maybe you're doing something like Brad's doing right now, for sure.
Yeah.
So we don't have any other questions right now, but guys, if you want to send those in, really would appreciate that. I know Brad is eager to answer your questions as well, but one question that I had that came to mind is what are some other daily habits in addition to what you shared, like in the morning routine, that you do to help drive success? Because I think that there's probably like a lot of people who can like relate. I mean, I definitely can relate. Like I grew up like as a goat farmer from freaking Goshen, Utah, and so I had to create the life I have. Like none of it was handed to me right now. But yeah, so if you wouldn't mind just sharing like what are some like the things that you've done over the course of time that have helped you to be successful in the point you're at now, where you can go to like the high school reunions and people are jealous of your life.
Well, one of the biggest things, and I've already shared it, is surrounding myself with good people. Really, you guys, I've said it a few times, and the reason I'm driving it home is I want you to really evaluate your circle of friends. There's a concept called the circle of influence, and it means the 5 people that are closest to you, you will become like them. Who do you spend most of your time with? Who are the people you hang out with when there's downtime? Really pay attention to that and the conversations that you're having, because they are affecting your success or lack of it. So that's one. The other is time blocking. Time management is difficult. And with cell phones and computers and social media and, so many things going on in today's world, it's easy to be distracted and to waste time. The only asset that you have in building your business is time. It's also a liability if you don't use it to your advantage. Because time is the demotivator, right? As more time goes by without success, the less momentum we feel like we have. So you've got to really use your time. Each of you have had days where you've just done so much and you like get done and you're like, oh, I'm so tired, but man, it was an amazing day. I did so much today and it feels really good, right? Imagine if you did that every single day. Now, for me, the way my schedule works is I will do Monday through Friday on business. I even make Friday a half day. I only work until about 11 o'clock on Fridays. And then the rest of the day, I set up for a long weekend. I do projects, I go camping, I do whatever it is I want to do. I let my mind not have to think, because Monday through Friday, I have hour blocks. Now everyone's like, duh, we all have 1 hour blocks. But I'm very, very succinct and very planned with my each hour, what I do. So when I coach for about 45 to 50 minutes of that hour, and then I take the last 10 minutes to write down my thoughts and inspirations that come from teaching that lesson, sending out follow-up emails if I need to do that, and grabbing a quick drink between my next appointment. And I've got time blocked out that on my calendar, if you're trying to set up, you can't take that time, because I have an appointment with making a podcast, or I have an appointment with creating content and posting it to social media. I create the appointments. My whole day is booked, solid, full of appointments. I have an appointment right now. Micah reached out just before the class started, was like, hey, are you coming? I was finishing one of my appointments. And so then it's like, boom, jump in, got a drink, came over, set up my computer, and I was on to the next part. I keep my day segmented so that I know what I'm doing with my time. And I'm not scrolling on Facebook or looking at YouTube or just getting lost doing mindless things that aren't going to drive the business.
That's great. And going along with that, something I've had to realize, I wish I would have realized this early on, but there is such an opportunity cost with time. And I say that because time is always costing us something. It's the only asset, it's the only thing that is really limited in this life. And so I found that sometimes like I feel like I'm being productive, but I'm not like spending my time in the like right direction. And so that's really just such a waste of time. I mean, TV is a good example, or I guess even with business sometimes. Like if I jump forward with an idea, and I guess this is something that just needs to happen with everyone, but it's just the sooner that you can learn how to, that something doesn't work and then just move on, the better. So it's just time can either be an opportunity cost or like an asset. It just depends on how you spend it.
Yeah. But one of my favorite quotes says, if you're looking for time, you'll never find it. You have to make it. Think about that. Don't look for time in your schedule to try to figure out how to do the business. Make the time. Cut out the things that aren't helping you get to revenue. Revenue solves a lot of problems. If you're still trying to, I got to create the right logo, and I got to have my website set up, and I've got to make my pitch just right, and I've got to spend all the time doing these things before I can try to sell, guys, you're going about it backwards. Go out and find out if your product can sell. You should do nothing but make your first 5 sales and make money off of them. Don't give it away for free. This is, are people willing to put their money where their mouth is? Because when you tell people about your new great product, they're all like, oh, that's so cool. Yes, that would be awesome. And if you're like, can I give it to you? They're like, oh, by all means. But as soon as you ask somebody for money and they're not willing to make an exchange, it means your product has no value. And you need to go back and adjust and figure out what do they want. If you're trying to catch fish, I don't go out and use a big piece of pie, chocolate pie that I love. They have a pie here called Oreo chocolate pie. It's good. It's really good. And when I go fishing, I don't use a big slice of Oreo chocolate pie because the fish doesn't care what I like. The fish cares what it likes. It wants worms and grasshoppers. So I use worms and grasshoppers when I go fishing. Likewise, as you go out and try to get people to buy your product, don't build the product for what you like. Find out what they need, what they like. How do you solve their problems? That's what they care about. So maybe do some asking around. What can I do to make this product better? How can I push myself to the next level so that more people will benefit from what it is I'm trying to give? Now you're getting down to a point where your product is going to be more desirable. It's going to sell better. And ultimately, when it does start selling, now you have revenue. And like I said before, revenue solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. Thank you for sharing all of that. We just had another question come in from Teddy, and he asked, Brad, how do you make sure your goals are limitless but very realistic?
Well, so when you're making goals, there's you've probably all heard of SMART goals before. If not, SMART stands for specific, measurable. It's an acronym. Specific, measurable, attainable, is it attainable? Sorry, specific, measurable, attainable.
Is it realistic?
Realistic and time measured. Yeah. So, like they're time bound. So specific, don't just say, I want to make a lot of money. That's not specific. How much money do you want to make? And of course, when we jump down to that T, how much time do you want to make it? Now, if you have never made like a big amount of money and you're like, oh, I want to make $10,000 this week, and you haven't sold a product yet, that's not very realistic, is it? The brain's going to have a hard time even figuring out, how do I get there? So being limitless, there's almost two time factors in here. You want to set the big goals. Guys, when I see myself, I shared earlier, I close my eyes, I think about being on stage. Actually, when I see it, I'm at the Sydney Amphitheater in Australia, and that's where I see myself on this stage, and I can hear everybody just clapping and all these people coming up afterwards with their awesome Australian accents and being like, oh, what you shared just absolutely changed my life. That's my big long-term goal, my limitless goal, because I'm an international speaker, right? But right now what my goals are to launch something locally where I can start being on stages, and after coronavirus and all this stuff calms down, then I'm going to start booking stages and I'm going to start doing seminars on a smaller goal. These are what's called breadcrumb goals. And the breadcrumb is like dropping little breadcrumbs that lead us to the big goal. So my big goals are limitless. I am limitless and I want to change the world. Now my breadcrumb says, how do I get there? Well, let's start locally. I started online. I have a group. In fact, Micah, can I share right now about this next week?
Oh yeah, please do. Yeah, guys. So just to give some heads up for this, Brad spoke about a really interesting opportunity. He'd like to share with you guys when we were talking before the call. So, Brad, yeah, please go ahead and share the details.
So on Monday, I have a group that I'm going to be doing I'll send Micah. There's a registration link. It's free, but you go, you sign up, and on Monday we're going to be meeting. It'll be an hour earlier than this call is. Each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's free. I'm going to be teaching a lot of really in-depth things, some of the stuff we've touched on already, but jumping in deeper to it. So you're all welcome to come if you'd like. But that is breadcrumb number 1. I have Zoom, so I can start online. I'll do locally and get people to come. I share my experiences, my different things that I do, and then I'm going to start doing bigger live events. That's breadcrumb number 2. And then I've got a friend who said, "Man, let's go to the UK and we'll do a group over there." That's breadcrumb number 3, because now I'm international. And then our go-tos were Brazil, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and now I'm getting there. I'm starting to touch the world. You see how it's a limitless goal, but realistic in the breadcrumbs that lead me there. That's what you have to be able to do, Teddy, is just keep the big goals. Don't limit yourself. But as you're working towards it, be more realistic with those SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Realistic on that means your brain can conceive, hey, I can go that far. If you were to drive from the bottom of, let's say you were going to drive a car from the bottom of Africa all the way to the top. Your headlights at night only see so far, and during the day you can only see so far down the road. But if you keep driving down the right roads, you will eventually drive the entire span. You don't have to see the whole thing. You don't have to see the whole road laid out before you. Just go as far as you can see. And guess what happens when you get to that new spot? You can see more of the road. And you keep going until you arrive at your destination.
I love that. Did you just barely come up with that analogy on the spot?
It's one that I teach inside of my classes and stuff.
Okay, that's really cool. I love that. I don't think I've heard that one before, so that's awesome. I love that analogy, though. Cool. So, Brad, I believe that's all the questions for now. So would you mind just wrapping up with some of your final thoughts? Just any other encouraging advice you could give to the people here in Africa?
Yeah. Final thoughts, guys, keep going. Sometimes it feels like it's just, what is all this for? Take it from a lowly goat herder from Goshen and a funeral home director's son who have built success and been able to create dreams, and we're still working on bigger, better, faster, stronger things in our lives. But if you keep going, if you apply Safi, consistent, focused effort, and just don't stop, you will get there, I promise. So,
thank you.
That's what I have for you guys.
Thank you. Guys, I wish we could have Brad here every day. I feel so inspired when we do these calls. I'm always learning something new as well. So, but Brad, I thank you so much for your time. This is really inspiring.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I'm grateful to be here with all of you. Guys, go sign up for that class. Micah will send it over. Sign up. Don't miss out. I know it's probably quite a bit later over there, but don't miss out. These are the opportunities. What we focus on in this next class that I'm going to be teaching next week is mindset. How to stay positive. How to change the way you think. I'm going to teach you all about the brain anatomy and things that are going on in your brain that make it hard to stay positive. I teach techniques and ways to start changing the way that you think about things. It's awesome. And I'd love to have all of you there. So Micah, thanks for having me here today.
Awesome. Well, Brad, so happy to have you here. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to speaking to you guys on Tuesday, and we'll see you guys around.
See you guys. I dropped out, and then I realized, oh, he's cutting it off.
Oh, no worries. Sorry, my camera's having issues. It has this